Must be Max Loudon.
How do you know I'm not Nick?
Because Mike said if one of you ever came to see me, it'd be you. So, why don't you tell me what the problem is, and I'll get you out of it.
No, I hope it's that easy. Nick and I started another business venture, raised $100 million to get the thing off the ground. I can only account for 50 of it.
Well, when 50 million is missing, the math adds up to embezzlement.
I know that. But I'm telling you, Nick wouldn't do that, not to me and not to the business.
And if he didn't take it, he got taken.
Look, I don't know what happened. But what I do know is that if we can't account for the money and anyone finds out, we're not just out of business, we're in prison.
Trust me, Max, I'm not gonna let that happen.
Thank you.
Max, don't tell Nick you came to me with this.
Well, I wasn't going to, but do you mind if I ask why not?
I don't want him to know I'm coming.
I know you already know this, but he's either guilty and trying to pin it on his partner, or it's the other way around.
No way that kid's guilty.
I don't know that, and neither do you.
I know you're managing partner, but you handle your clients, I'll handle mine.
Okay, give it to me.
He's got two young bucks. One of them's up to something shady. I don't know which one, but he has a soft spot for the one named Max. If that guy's wrong, he's not going to see it.
No matter what, we can't afford to lose the client because we just merged.
Exactly. I knew I'd keep you around for a reason.
That you do. Now, what's the something shady?
$50 million is missing.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
So, you're on it.
Oh, I'm more than on it, Robert. I know exactly what to do.
Not often you get a top-rate investment bank knocking on the doors of a fledgling business.
But if we do that, we won't get the full price of our upside.
What if I told you they were willing to send over $500,000 in cash as a good faith advance against any transaction costs?
I'm sorry. Who are you?
I'm Samantha Wheeler. I work with Harvey. Like I said, $500,000. All you have to do is send your books over to start the process, and we'll get down to making you and your partner rich.
Well, that's very generous. But as I was just saying to Harvey, we're already rich, and I don't feel comfortable giving away our upside.
Nick, don't let this briefcase get in the way of a great opportunity.
Look, I appreciate you both coming over, but we're in the middle of our build-out, so please, for right now, I prefer to keep things like they are.
Let me tell you something. Derailing my meeting when it was going exactly as planned isn't the way to get off on a better foot.
I don't know what meeting you were in, but that man was not going to show you his books.
And offering him a bribe is going to get him to?
It wasn't a bribe. It's untraceable cash, which, if he were embezzling, he would have gone for.
We're missing $50 million. $500,000 isn't going to get him out of his jam.
Well, maybe if your ex-assistant hadn't hamstrung me with my expense account, it would have been more.
Samantha, you bring Donna into this, we're never getting on the right foot.
Look, that wasn't what I meant.
That's enough! I'm going to get to the bottom of this, and I don't need your help. So why don't you have some respect for the chain of command and stay away from my clients? Look, I'm not that big on apologies, so you're not going to get one. But I thought about it, and if you're still interested in working this thing together, I'm good with that.
Good, because I found out some things you might want to know.
You kept working on it, even after I told you to stay out of it?
I'm not big on apologies either. This is the best you're going to get. As far as I can tell from Nick's bank statements, he doesn't spend shit on shit. He's clean.
Well, his spending may be accounted for, but the original $50 million isn't.
What are you talking about?
I can't find any record of deposits before the second 50 came in. As far as I can tell, that 50 covered the entire cost of the project.
Wait a second. He didn't need the first 50. He needed the second 50.
And he couldn't get the second without saying he had the first.
Which means he misrepresented himself to his investors, and this is definitely criminal.
Shit. We need to go tell Max and run through his options.
Harvey, I've fixed a lot of situations like this. The first thing we need to do is go to the guy that caused the problem.
And give him a chance to implicate his partner? No way. We go to the guy who came to us. He's our client.
The business is our client.
And I'm okay with you working with me on this, but I am not okay with you working it against me.
Okay. We'll go to Max first thing in the morning.
I have your word. You'll leave it until tomorrow?
You have my word.
According to your contract, you have the option to buy out your investors at a 30% return. They go away happy, but we put this in our rearview mirror.
And assuming we can even come up with that kind of money, what if someone finds out before we do?
No one's gonna find out.
That's not an answer.
Max.
No. This is Nick's mistake, not mine. And innocent people go to the police.
Listen to me. You turn him in, you'll look like a guilty man running scared.
I am scared.
Max, you used to trust Mike. Now I need you to trust me. We get these guys paid off, it'll take maybe 3 days. Then you're fine.
Harvey, I trust you.
We did it your way. We talked to Max, and we presented a united front.
You better not be saying you want to divide it now.
All I'm saying is there's another option. We replace the fabricated 50 million with a real 50 from an actual investor. No one will ever know.
Oh, so all we have to do is commit fraud to get out of fraud?
And how exactly is that any different from what you want to do?
Because my way is protected under the letter of the law.
And we have to pay a 30% return on something that isn't worth it.
Keeping Max out of prison seems worth it to me. So instead of fighting with me, why don't you start thinking about where we're gonna get that money? What the hell did you do?
I take it Max called you?
No, he sent Donna a letter formalizing Nick Turner's transition to CEO since Max is suddenly leaving the company.
Actually, he's stepping down to spend more time with his family.
I don't give a shit what he's doing. I want to know what you did.
I did what you wouldn't do. Protect the client.
Bullshit. Max agreed to exercise the buyout clause.
And yet, he still contacted a criminal defense attorney.
What?
He panicked, and he wasn't going to keep his mouth shut, and our client was going to go out of business.
So you thought the answer was forcing him out?
The answer was, and always is, protect the company. And the fact that you were more focused on protecting Max than our client is exactly why Robert wanted me to get involved in the first place.
What?
I wasn't trying to make things better with you. He wanted me to keep an eye on you.
You had no right to force that kid out of his own company.
I didn't force him out.
Save your bullshit. You gave me your word that you were going to be pulling something like this. So stay the hell away from my client, or the next time you make a move behind my back, you'll be finding yourself another job.
I asked you to help the man, not piss him off.
You asked me to save the client. This is what it's going to take. And since when do you care if I piss someone off?
Since you made me promise to put your name up on that wall next. Because if you do this, Harvey's gonna do anything he can to stop your name from ever going up on that wall.
You asked me to do it, Robert. I can't take it back. What do you want me to do now?
Show Harvey what I see in you. Whatever happens along the way, when push comes to shove, you will never let him down.
I know you're not in the mood. I just want to explain what happened with Max Loudon.
I know what happened. You blackmailed him.
I did not blackmail him.
Then what did you do?
I asked myself, how the hell did Nick pull this shit on Max in the first place? He's not an idiot. He must have been distracted.
What difference does that make?
The difference is Max was distracted with his sister who has cancer. So I pulled some strings, got her into a trial, and he was more than happy to step down.
Okay, so you didn't boot him out the way I thought. What's going to stop Nick Turner from putting us in this position again?
What would have stopped him your way?
Max would have. That was the reason I wanted to back him.
Well, this isn't Max, but maybe it will do.
Let me guess, you want to be the one to do it.
No, I don't. He's your client, you do it. Unless, of course, you need me to hold your hand.
I'm pretty sure I can take care of this myself. This is nice work, Samantha.
I just want to be part of the team.
You know, the place is really starting to come together.
Doesn't look any different than the last time you saw it.
I know, I just figured you're a bullshit artist, so you'd probably appreciate a little smoke blown up your ass.
Excuse me?
Okay, have it your way. We'll cut the bullshit and get to the part where you defrauded your investors to pay for this place. And before you even lie to me about it, why don't you start thanking me for getting you out of it?
You got me new funding?
I did. Of course, to do that, I had to let the bank in on your IPO plans.
I don't have any IPO plans.
You do now.
I get it. Once we're publicly traded, I'll have a board of directors and they'll have full access to my books.
Which means I hope you enjoyed breaking the law once, because it's never gonna happen again.
And what if I say no? And then I fire you?
But then you end up in prison, which happens 99% of the time in cases like this anyway.
What happens the other 1% of the time?
You're looking at him. And trust me, Nick, a guy who can do what I did, you want him on your team. I'll be in touch.